So it's minus 6 degrees outside, and I'm about to do a review of the esbit cookset. This is the smaller of the two cooksets. I've had this thing for about a year now, and you'll have to bear with me with the camera work here. I'm one-handed. I really like this. It's actually my favorite little stove. I have a number of others. I just find this one's very simple. It works for me, but I haven't had a chance to use it in the winter. So what I've done is I've taken this and I've put some water outside here about half hour ago, and the cookset as well. And just to give you an idea, it should have cooled down quite a bit by now. So this is the cookset, just out of its stuff sack. And I can take the top off. There is quite a bit of space in there to hold your esbit tablets. There's enough there for 2 or 3 burns anyways, if you're going to have multiple nights away. I just made this last night. I've never used a windscreen with it. I have no idea if it's useful or not yet. It does come with its own little stove and windscreen. I don't find that this windscreen works great. It's not bad, you know. It does the trick, but you do still see the flame sort of dance around inside there. So, I will give this a go for you. I have to put this down. I have no idea if it'll be in the frame or not. Try to bear with me for a moment. So, this is the actually esbit tab. It has got a bit of a fishy smell. It's not bad though. There's sort of a bumpy area. Takes a moment to start. You know, it's alcohol stoves are a lot quicker. Gas stoves are a lot quicker to initially get it to ignite. Just about started there now. You need a decent little flame source. Usually a match works better. There we go. Got it started. Turn that to you. So, that's lit. I'm just going to put the top on. Pour this very cold water. I'm doing this test more for myself, to be honest with you. I'm going camping sometime in February, and it's probably going to be quite cold. So I wanted to see if the stove is going to function for me, or if I should maybe bring my Coleman or my alcohol stove, which I know will work. I'm trying to unfold this little windscreen I've made here. I don't think there'd be too much of a benefit to using this today. I'm not sure how it's going to affect the boil times. Once again, sorry about all the camera angles. I'm going to let this sit here for a little while and just sort of boil away. Can see that just sort of going. Burns fairly well. I've always been sort of impressed with these things. They're not really sooty. They do leave a bit of a residue on the bottom of the tray there, but it's not so bad. You know, it's still burning away fairly strong. There's probably about, I don't know, half of it, maybe just less than half of it consumed so far. You know, it's a nice stove. I'm really hoping that it's got enough power in there to heat up that water with one tablet. Of course, you can always add additional tablets, and I have, on occasion, added little twigs. I wouldn't build an outright wood fire in there, because there are these little plastic feet at the bottom. No, I'm not going to be able to show you that, but well, yeah, there's one. Those plastic feet, they'll definitely melt if you get that fire going right against the base. So, we get a little puff of steam there. Maybe there's something going on. Let's take a quick peek and see what that water's doing. Well, it's steaming. Little bubbles on the bottom, but it's definitely not ready yet. Put you back down here and let this go for another few minutes and see what's going on, okay? They say most people get typical boil times around 8 minutes with this, and I'd say in the summer it's probably a little faster than that, but it's definitely not a fast stove. But considering the stove and your pot is all in one, really, it doesn't require you to carry an awful lot, which is great. It doesn't take up much space in your pack in any way. Notice that my windscreen's starting to blow away. I got the best designed windscreen ever, but it was cheap. So it's still burning away, but I'd say it's getting towards the end of its useful life there. It's been burning about 6.5, 7 minutes, so that's not a really long runtime. It is a bit breezy and cold out here, but normally it's they claim about a 12-minute burn. Now I've been trying to boil full 2 cups of water. That's 16 ounces there. Let's see how it's coming along. I don't think it's there yet. No, shouldn't be opening that up too often, but it looks like I will definitely need a second tablet. So I'm going to actually get that ready now. That's good to know. Now I know I basically have to double my fuel. The amount of fuel that I bring. Although these things are remarkably light, they're really not a big deal. Put that in there for a moment, let it get started. Esbit's very hard to find in Canada. It can be found, and when I do find it, I tend to buy the entire stock that the store has. I've tried using like the Coughlin's fuel tabs and things like that. They're very sooty. This isn't. Actually, I've fouled my pot quite a bit with the Coughlin stuff. It's hard to see, but the one thing I did have happen once with this stove early on, it was in a bit of a breeze and had the Coughlin's tabs in it, but they flared up quite a bit. They actually melted. These are actually supposed to come about here. I ended up having to cut a big chunk of them off. Didn't really affect it beyond that point, but the flame had just sort of licked up the side of it and melted them. So you may end up having to do the same thing depending on which way the wind's blowing. Comparing this to say like another stove like a Trangia, I think the Trangia alcohol stove may actually work a little bit faster. I have the Mini, which I think is the number 28, and I like that quite a bit. The only thing I find with it is, while they say everyone says it's maintenance free, it's not really 100%. Oftentimes, every year, it doesn't take very long, but every year I have to take some Brasso and polish it because the thing just it oxidizes really quickly. It tarnishes and it doesn't look very good. It doesn't affect its function in any way, but I like to kind of keep my gear looking decent. Otherwise, if it gets too beat up, even though it's working, I sort of feel the urge to replace it with something else. So that seems to have taken pretty well now. We're going right away. It should be very interesting to see how long it takes before this starts to boil. And that is almost there. It's not going to take very long. The great thing is what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to blow that second one out and use it to start my next. So it may be more like I need 1.5 times my normal fuel amounts. So yeah, I bought this off of REI. I think it was about $30. They don't sell it anymore, and it didn't get very good reviews. However, I really quite like it. It's one of these things where you can count grams, and some stoves are lighter and some stoves are heavier, and it all depends really, I think, in what you end up liking in the end. It looks like it must be boiling now. I'll just wait for that pot to rattle. There we go, it's starting. So there we go, I'd say that's a full boil now. Yeah, there we go. So we barely touched that second cube at all. It was definitely needed, but we didn't use very much of it. Because this is at home and I won't get a chance to use that at any point, I'll just let that burn out on its own.